Hi, my name is Derek Liu, and this is The Art of Making Trailers. When you start making a trailer for a movie or game, you have a lot of footage. It could be anywhere from 2 hours to 200 hours. To have any hope of making a 1 to 2 minute trailer, you need to break it down into tiny, organized bits. In this process, you'll eliminate unusable footage, get really familiar with the footage, and save future editing time.
I don't have time. Not enough time!
Saving editing time when you're working alone is reason enough to do this, but imagine if you literally have a client or producer in the same room with you who is waiting to see some changes. If you've broken down your footage and they ask for a type of shot or a replacement for a shot, you'll be able to say,
"You want thingamabobs? I got 20.
Here are the main categories I typically break footage down into. You don't have to use my system. What's important is you organize the footage so you know how to find what you need.
Spot!
Establishing shots. These are wide shots of locations or anything that sets the scene. They're frequently the first shot in the trailer with a low boom under it. It's definitely a cliche way to start a trailer, but it works. Establishing shots are also good for scene transitions or when a location is referred to in dialogue.
Bourne showed up on our surveillance in southern Europe.
Turin, Italy.
London. Tangier.
Characters. These are shots of the characters when they're not talking. You're almost never going to want to show the characters' lips moving if you're not hearing the dialogue, so there's little sense in saving them. These shots are good for when a character is referenced in the trailer, or there's a cast lineup montage. This also includes reaction shots, which are frequently manipulated for dramatic or comedic effect. My general rule for this category is, any shot of a character when they're not talking is fair game.
Disobedience, stealing, spitting, running away, throwing rocks, kicking stuff, loitering, and graffitiing.
Story. These shots I refer to as narratively dense because they show an action which tells a story unto themselves. If you've ever played the game Virginia, nearly all the shots in that game fit into this category because the game is told purely through visuals. Money shots. The most epic shots, the ones you know you absolutely want to be in the trailer. The shots in trailers people get in arms about because they're clearly from the climax of the film or the game. Those shots. Action. This is a very broad category I sometimes split into subcategories. For example, an action film might have a ton of gun-related shots or driving shots. I usually put any sort of violence into this category too. For movies or games with a lot of hand-to-hand combat, I make a category for fight scenes. I put any shot that's at least as exciting as a person running in this category. Another way to think about this category is to put in shots that have movement, whether the camera or the actor. Punctuation. Trailers frequently break up or emphasize lines of dialogue with little action bits, which I refer to as punctuation, but are also referred to as accents. These are snappy little moments, as innocuous as a door closing, or as dramatic as a three-point landing.
My name is Violet.
These shots are sprinkled in to illustrate a point.
When I was your age, they would say we could become cops or criminals.
Keep the audience's attention, or transition.
Just start with me.
These frequently overlap with the action category, but in general tend to be used in smaller cuts. Punctuation shots fit into these three subcategories: anticipation, slams, and explosions. Anticipation shots lead up to the explosion. Maybe it's a plane flying into the camera, a car driving into the camera, or someone winding up a punch. Slams can also lead up to an explosion. They're basically any sort of impact or collision of objects on screen. For example, it could be a button press, a gas pedal being slammed, a gun magazine being loaded, an eye blinking, a person smashing a glass, etc. The explosion is usually a literal explosion, but it can be any sort of outburst of energy like someone screaming or a truck flipping. These frequently come after anticipation or slam shots. Humor. These are any shots which are funny. Even if the trailer isn't for a comedy, it's good to have these readily accessible if you can find time, just in case. And if you're working in Hollywood, you'll probably need a category for sex, because action movie trailers can never seem to resist putting one random shot of mostly naked bodies in their montages. Yeah, it's a thing. Now, every project is also going to have visuals unique to it, especially video games where showing specific game mechanics, characters, or enemies are important. For example, when I made my fan trailer for Uncharted 4, I had categories for climbing, exploring, swinging, finding stuff, puzzles, and a lot more.
Be out of your goddamn mind! Yep!
If you find yourself with a category of shots so big it's difficult to find what you want, consider breaking it into subcategories. And here are some ways you can sort your visuals. The method I use is putting visuals into sequences. These are simply sequences with a lot of clips in them, with markers to designate each category. The benefit of this method is you can quickly play and skip through the footage. In Premiere Pro or Avid Media Composer, you can also load the sequence into the source monitor. That setup allows you to select clips with in and out points, and use your Insert Overwrite Edit shortcuts to put it into the timeline. In Premiere Pro, you can also pancake this sequence above your timeline for easy cut and pasting. The downside of organizing in sequences is there's no way to visually see your shots all at once, which is why you might want to try sorting visuals into bins. This is done by making subclips of the individual shots and putting them in a bin with thumbnail view turned on. This method is great for previewing your visuals, especially in Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro 10 where you can hover scrub. Famed film editor Walter Murch has this sort of setup on the wall of his editing room when he's working on a feature film. He'll have printed versions of the shots plastered on a wall so you can see what he has at a glance. And that's it! I hope this video helps you make trailers of your own. If you have your own favorite sorting categories or methods of organizing your breakdowns, please share them in the comments below. If you'd like to support the making of these videos, please check out my Patreon. And of course, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thanks, and have fun!